Hi, so as he said, I'm Kathy Jentz, Washington Gardener Magazine editor and publisher, and I'm here to turn your black thumbs green. And I'm here to say I really don't believe in black thumbs, just green thumbs that haven't sprouted yet. So the principles of gardening are very simple. Basically, plants want to grow, and green side up, brown side down. That's as easy as it gets. That's not original to me. That's my friend Felder Rushing, a fellow garden writer, who came up with that principle. And like any hobby, gardening can be as complex as you want it to be or as easy as you want it to be. And the guiding principle is right plant, right place. So if it's a desert plant, you give it desert conditions. If it's a swamp plant, you give it swamp conditions. So knowing our growing conditions is what I try to teach, and that's what the plants want, is the growing conditions for our area. So we have a lot of clay. We are USDA hardiness zone 7. So what that means is a plant can grow and over winter if it's hardy to zone 7. If it's 8, 9, or 10, that means that it's hardy to south of here and will not overwinter. It can't take our cold winters. So 7 and below, you'll look for on the plant tag. But plant tags lie. What happens a lot is some dummy drops a plant, the tag falls out, they stick it in another plant. That happens often. Even at public gardens, plants will have wrong plant tags. So do your research, know the plant, take a picture of it, post it to Twitter, ask people for a proper ID. And on the plant tag, you'll see annual versus perennial. It causes a lot of confusion. Annual lives for one growing season. Perennial comes back over winters, dies back, comes back for several growing seasons. So if it dies at the end of the season, in the winter, it's an annual. Plants want to live. Without human interference, these weeds have come up in my garden year after year, just like they come up in concrete sidewalks. And they have been around for millennia more than us. As our Native American ancestors have taught us, plants are the elder statesmen of this planet. They have much to teach us. They were here, as I said, long before us. They're going to be here long after us. So, speaking of the undead, seeds have been discovered in Egyptian tombs that are 5,000 years old, and they were planted and sprouted just as good as fresh seeds. The key to keeping seeds alive is completely dry conditions. I recommend a glass jar if you don't have your own Egyptian tomb to store it in. So, speaking of moisture, the #1 cause of plant death is overwatering, and that's usually for houseplants, and that's what I call overloving. I'm guilty of it as well. You see the plant turning a little yellow or a little brown, and you think it needs more water. Please don't overwater. What you'll need to do is pick up the plant. If it feels heavy for the size, it means it doesn't need to be watered. And the best thing you can offer it is great drainage. So several drainage holes, not one. Get out that drill and add drainage holes if your pot doesn't have it. And don't use a saucer, throw that away, use a pebble tray. So what you want to do is hold the moisture below the plant root zone that drains off. Now, underwatering is the #2 cause of loss, and that usually is because we go through life, we're human-centric, we're animals, we have green blinders on, we don't see green. So I want you to put a little tickler in your smartphone or calendar once a week. Look at my green things. So, unlike what Miracle-Gro would like to tell you, fertilizer is not food, it is vitamins. You don't need to over-fertilize your plants or add really any fertilizer. If you have great soil, you don't need to supplement with fertilizers. That is not what plants are living off of. They live off of sunshine. They convert the sun's energy, they are the original solar machine, into plant material. We eat that plant material, we digest that plant material, that's added to the soil, that grows plants, and guess what? It feeds us. That's the cycle of life. So you're going to invest in your soil by adding as much organic material as possible. So you can add leaf mulch, compost from your kitchen, animal manure that is not from a meat-eating animal, are all great additions to your soil. And as the old gardening adage goes, you're going to dig a $100 hole for a $10 plant. And that simply means you're going to invest all your time into adding nutrients to your soil, because a cheap plant in great soil is going to do fabulously. A expensive plant in cheap soil is going to die. So that's where you're going to invest. If your plant dies within a week or two of you getting it, it was DOA. It was dead on arrival. That means somebody up the supply chain from you did something wrong with that plant. There's nothing you did if a plant dies shortly after it arrived. That means it was exposed to frost or didn't get watered properly or is just rotting out. And great gardeners kill many plants. We think of plants as experiments, as right plant, right place. I'm trying to find the right place for a plant in my yard. This is my dead plant pile. I'm very proud of it. These are failed experiments. So don't think of life and death. Think of experiments of the right plant, right place. And when you kill plants, you get to buy more plants and have even more experiments in your garden. So think of it that way, as just finding the right plant for the right place for this little plant to be and be happy, and not that you're killing it. And if you have any questions, I'm going to be here during the break. I'm going to be afterwards. I'm at Twitter at WDC Gardener. I'm on Facebook. I'm gardening at the Fenton Street Community Garden at the corner of Fenton and Philadelphia. Come and wave to me as you go by. And happy gardening. And I want to see a bunch of green thumbs.